All right, welcome guys. Welcome. This is Thursday live analysis. So let's get on it. So we're going to start with C1000 daily chart. We've been bearish for the most part coming from this high here. So here what I was anticipating from yesterday was for price to come at least below this red line here, which is these lows here. So prices to come take liquidity, potentially come take liquidity, uh, and maybe push up. This here is a weekly zone, so it could be that price actually broke and retested and will still get sales, like a break, a retest here, continuation of sales. So overall, my bias, I would say, is bearish for now. So let's drop down the time frames and see what we have. So you can see I already have a runner. There's one position in case you want to open a position there. This is our weekly zone. Little fake out here, break below, break back above. Then these are the retests we're getting now. So hence my bias. I also feel like price might come check out liquidity here. So we've got from current market price, we've got a potential of a 30 pip drop. Potential of a 30 pip drop. So dropping down to H1. We've taken out yesterday's lows. Price hit this first zone here. Pull back up. Possible continuation to take out today's lows. Possible run to 5870 area. So there's a possible 30 pip drop here from CMP to this zone. So let's keep dropping down the time frames and see if we can get any point of interest where we can still sell from. So looking at M30, I would say price can potentially come back to the zone, though I doubt it though, because why I'm saying so is yesterday we had a break block here, which was retested together with this order block like multiple times. I retested again today. So to say price might come back up here, yes, it might, but at the moment, I do not think so. Right. The next point of interest would be this order block here. High probability zone, this one. So the exact values there would be 59.20. Okay, at the same time, you will notice that we had a breaker here. Excuse me, which was broken and retested. So if the peak was this one, price came and broke this last order block, right? And retested it with the pin bar, then dropped. So this, I would consider this a retracement for a continuation to the downside. So let's just see how price will act. But for now, I feel like from current market price, a runner, we can have a sell limit at 59, 59.18. But let me just confirm with M15 right there. Okay, so this is a high probability area for sales, starting from 59.20 actually. $59.20 to 59.25, this whole zone all the way to 59, I would say 45. That's a high probability area where we can actually sell from. But at the same time, we're saying price can still actually drop from CMP, take our liquidity, maybe push up to a point of interest, then give us a trade. So for now, we have a runner. First sell limit at 59.20. Then we'll see how price acts around that area. That's my current view for today. Let me just see how H4 closed. Okay, yeah, I'll be happy with that setup right there. Going to C300. C300, remember we mentioned price will potentially get into these areas. This top area here, since it was moving all ugly, it got there. I think we caught a sell. If you were following price, there was a sell setup yesterday. So today, I feel like price will drop down. If this is the range, price will drop down at least to yesterday's lows. So potentially we could be bearish. H4, remember we said we need at least 4 to 16 hours to get a pattern here, if I'm not mistaken. So we had 4, 8, 12, 16 hours. This looks like an M pattern, I think, on H1. So price has to retrace into something before we get that sell. So for us to be sure about the sell, where can we sell from? So first I'll mark these lows here. Then I'll check the number of pips from here to here. There's about 115 points, of which you only need 50. Right, minimum of 50, then we're good. So we drop down the time frames. Let's see if we've got reason to sell. So basically what we're saying is, if we miss the trade from anywhere here, if price breaks below today's lows, we're executing a sell and we're holding for at least 50 points. Or you can just scale out the 50 points, then leave a few positions running. The next TP would be the previous day's low, which is this one. The next TP would be the 800 EMA, which is the. So we could actually get a drop, but I'm not really banking on it since we've been all choppy from the daily. We don't really have clean momentum in the market. But yeah, that'll be my setup. If this can give us 50 pips, then I'll be happy. So from the top side, where can we actually sell from? So if you look from this high here, price broke the structure. And from here to here, I can see a fair value gap or an imbalance. Okay. Looking at this peak, breaking a structure, week of this candle, week of this candle. This gap in between, that's the imbalance. So that's where price can most likely pull back into, maybe give a pattern or just give one touch before actually selling. So if we get a pattern here, we're going to sell. If we get a break here, we're going to sell. So that's how I'm looking at C 300 at the moment. So that's H1, M15. More or less the same. Price will just be coming up here, I guess, inducing buyers or taking out stops of people who are already selling. Right, once those stops are taken out, then price can potentially drop. So we'll keep stalking on this one and see if they can pay us. Right, next one is C500. I believe we've got a runner there as well. So from the daily, this one I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. I feel like prices are rejecting on the 13 EMA. And I also mentioned price can attack these lows here, of which it did. but didn't touch here. So price can potentially still come down before we get a reversal. So my bias today is just based off that 13 EMA rejection. So let me see if we can get a pattern now on the smaller time frames. So from H4, I noticed that price took out this week's highs. So we had an initial high here at the open of this week. Then it was retested here. And then the third time now, price took out the whole liquidity there. So buy stops have been induced, stop losses have been hit. So it could be possible that price wants to come down and complete this wedge. As you can see, this move here, right? So maybe something like that might happen. But for now, our focus is from current market price all the way to the bottom of that trend line. So H4 also trying to pay attention to how they will react with the 13 EMA. Dropping down to H1. You see I have this zone here. I'm trying to figure out where I marked it from. But this is an order block here. So you can see price dropped, retested, dropped, possible retest again before we get a drop. We also need to mark these lows for a breakout type of entry or for us to know that we're actually correct. So if price comes and closes below here, okay, let me just put some correct parameters here. Okay, that's too low. Okay, that low right there, if we can get it close below that low, then I will consider selling again, no matter what happens at the top here. So we've got one position in current market price dropping down again to M30. This one yesterday, let me explain C5. So C5 looks bullish, right? Which was the retracement pushing up if you look at it from the higher time frame. So yesterday, what happened is we sold, right? We sold. Price dropped and I had a TP here and I had a TP here. So what happened is I held, they retraced to the edges, then they dropped, and I thought with this motion they would actually come to the TP. Price ended up retracing and actually taking me out because I had not even put a break even here. So that's something I wanted to mention. Sometimes price won't actually play out. Good morning, bro. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining. So sometimes I advise if price is like 10 pips away from your target, it's always good to also scale out. So I let all this profit go. I think it was in about 20 to 30 pips of profit. I let it go, ended up with a 15 to 20 pips stop loss because I think I held this for a little too long. Then I waited for it here. You can see they came and closed and I executed again. But when I saw them closing up, I closed because I thought they would actually be continuing with the uptrend. So just keep that in mind that it might happen again today. In case that 13 EMA on the daily doesn't hold, price will actually continue what? Pushing up. So we want to use this red line here as a guideline. If we get it close above this zone, something we don't understand, it's best we cut the loss on this one runner we have, then wait to see what price wants to. So maybe they might give a pattern or they might be continuing up to give a sell maybe later on, right? So we keep that in mind. But right now we're saying if we get it close below that red zone, then we should actually scale in now because there will be high probability that price will actually come to the bottom of this trend line here. To the bottom of this trend line here. So those are my two views at the moment. What C500? I just don't want us to do to kill us like it did yesterday. So again, we just want to monitor if we get paid like, okay, let me actually check the exact pips here. So if you get paid like 30 pips, that's perfect. 20 pips is even perfect because I'm still looking at this as a short-term trade until something shows me that it's like a swing sell or something. It's a short-term trade for now. So I'll just be aiming for 20 to 30 pips on this particular one. So just keep an eye on it. Check C1. C1 has to pay us because this is also a good setup here. But yeah, we'll keep stalking. So B1, I don't know. I would love to be bullish on this one. The way I'm looking at this price action is this. If you look to your far left, just look at your candles, how they are reacting on the 13 EMA, right? These rejections here, the way the candles are, you can see it's like a pattern, bullish engulfing there, bullish engulfing there, a doji, bullish engulfing there. Okay, here they don't touch, here they don't touch, here is a touch, and there's a bullish engulfing as well. So potentially we could buy, but at the same time, be open that price might actually have peaked here. So they might actually want to also start reversing. But I would say if we can get something showing us a buy from a smaller time frame, we should actually execute the buy. I also marked yesterday's zone, which we had. Let me go to H1. Okay, from where we bought from yesterday, remember we had this order block here, and price came, gave us a pattern in there. Right, so price seems to me like it's creating a pattern on the same zone. So we could actually get a buy today. That's my current view, right? That's H1. So for me to buy, I just need a close above this red line here. Once I can get it close above the red line, I'll wait for a slight retracement, then I'll get into buys. For M30, we have a W there, price bouncing off the 800 EMA. Same applies. I need price to break above this red line for me to actually buy. Because right now they might still come create a triple bottom there, or they might extend the lows, right? But if they do come above now, then it will be a safe uh, entry point. So potentially we can get 50 pips. The whole move back to today's high is about 67, 70 pips. So if we can get 50 of those pips, that'll be perfect. So that's my current view on B1. Nothing too complicated there. Just keeping it simple. Looking at M15. So here I'm just trying to get early entries. The reason we go to smaller time frames is to look for where price can retrace to, and actually giving us an early entry into the trade. So this is an order block as well. That's a point of entry. So we might get a retracement back into this zone before we get the push up. So this is my TP guidance, the 800 EMA or today's highs. Yesterday, the setup was too clean. You can see we also were waiting for a breakup above, which we got. Price actually pushed up, but still came back to give us a nice entry here. And we had a gap also somewhere in there. So the setup had many confluences. So today we're stalking to see if they will just come up or they will come down first or they'll extend the lows before coming up. That's my view on B1000. B500s, we had a zone. This is a daily zone. It looks like prices are rejecting the trades in EMA. Is it possible to get buys? Let's see. Very possible. Very, very, very possible. Okay, we had this zone. which was respected there. So if price closes above here, we can consider buys. Let's see. This one is a bit tricky. Let me just see. So it also looks like we got a descending channel here. So short term, we can get price actually coming up here, maybe coming back down, coming back up. Short term, we might get it by. Let me see if it's worth it. 45 pips. Order block B. Okay, let's see. So if we can get a retracement into here, I might consider buys. I might consider buys right here. What I need is a retracement back into that zone. B5 needs more patience. From the way I see it, okay, what did I do here? Yeah, I don't know what I did here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there with my Zoom. But anyways, price can potentially do this. I would love to take a buy if they come back here. I would love to take a buy. Thing with B5 is it needs a lot of patience, man. Yeah, if we can pull back into that zone around 47.94 or 47.95, that would be a point of interest for me. 47.95. So let's just watch as it pulls back. We can get a nice buy here with a TP of 48.50. That will be the potential target. So that's my view on B5. J10, we stopped it yesterday. It gave us what we wanted. They came back to the equal highs. Then I got my pattern there. Right in here, I got a pattern. That red dot, that's where we executed, and it dropped all the way back to these lows. It was just a simple trade. So today, today, I would say we are still bearish. Because what I'm thinking is price still wants to come into this zone, right? Remember our weekly zone right there from last week. So currently we are below the trend line, and price can potentially come into that area to take out liquidity before we start getting solid buys. So daily H4, could we sell today? I would say yes. This setup, I feel like it will only become a buy if maybe if price comes back above this zone. So right now, as you can see, I'm not really clear on it or what they want to do, but the gray zone is also a potential area where we can sell from, or this zone here. Which is around the 50 EMA. So around 839. Let's just say around 840. 840,000. Around 840,000. That's where we might get a sell pattern around 84. 0, 0, 0, 0. That's where somewhere in here. That's where we might get a sell pattern. But apart from that, for now, I do not really have anything clear on this one. Then the last setup, or the last thing we're going to look at is V250. Remember yesterday we also mentioned these guys might just drop without retesting our zones, which is exactly what they did. They just dropped. I'm not sure what time we had the zoom, but I noticed that the setup was actually here. We had an order block, peak, they broke and retested. So this was the immediate setup. They could have retested this, but they didn't. They just accelerated. So again, there was no setup there. So today, I still feel price wants to come to yesterday's. Okay, this is not yesterday's lows, but they want to come to this gray zone here. So if price is going to come to that gray zone, where can we potentially sell from? So we've got this order block here and this low here. So we have something like this. And we'll have something like this is the order block now. Okay, so those are my 2 points of interest for sales. If price comes there and gives a pattern and a nameable candle, we'll execute sales from there. I'm still keen on selling, but at the same time, price might still even extend back up into these levels to just retest them and still come all the way down. So just bear that in mind. Levels from yesterday or this level or this order block, those are points of interest for sales. But I will advise on the Telegram group when the setups are forming. I will advise, but this is for later. J10 looks like it's also for later. B5 will be for just now, so we're actively stalking on B500. Okay, B1 looks to be in motion. Let's see. Okay, we actually missed the. Are they gonna come down? Maybe. Okay, they've closed above our point of interest. So right now, this is where I get interested to actually what? To actually buy. So from current market price to the red line to this last order block here to this gray zone here. Those are all points of interest, right? Those are all points of interest. So let me see this pattern. I think I'll actually execute one buy position. Okay, let me also specify the PEEP calculation here. So when you trading B1000, this moves a lot. So like this whole move from the beginning of the candle to the top, that's already 60 pips. So if we get a 60 pip retracement, right, we have a 0.20 position, and this price decides to retrace 60 pips. 2 times 612. That means on this trade, that one position will be in negative $12. If this price retraces to here, I'll be in negative $12. So these are some of the things you need to calculate before you open any position. And you should also know your account size. So if you've got a $50 account, you should know that one position will set you back $12. If you've got $100 account, same thing, 0.20 times 60 pips. If price retraces all the way, it will set you back $12. So this helps you to know how many positions you're going to open, helps you to calculate your risk so that you don't end up losing your account. So looking at M30, I would say this pattern looks all right. We should be able to get 50 pips from the current position which we have. That's the first thing. The second thing is if price retraces to the red line, that's a buy limit there, right? So that position will end up paying what? 60 pips. If price retraces all the way back into this order block and still gives us a setup, that trade will move at least 80 pips. So if you have 3 positions, that's also your profits increasing, but at the same time, your risk is also increased. So just to put the pip calculations again, so on average, we're averaging a 50 pip target on this trade. So if you have one position, that position will pay you $10. If you enter with 0.3, that position will pay you $15. 0.5, that position will pay you 25. One lot size will pay you 50. 10 lot sizes times 50 will pay you 500. And the maximum lot size you can open on synthetics is 50 standard lot size times 50, and that will pay you 2,500. Let's see. Yes, B1000 we buying a current market price, but just one position for now because we can get a retracement. So we've bought B1000 at CMP 13802 is the current price. Yeah, so these are the lot sizes as well. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let's remove that. Okay, so B1 is active. If we get a nice retracement, I'm looking to scale in, or even if we retrace to the 13 EMA here, that's where I'm looking to scale in, right on the red line. So you can have a buy limit on 13,789. 13,789. Okay, buy limit is there. 13,789. 13,789. That's a buy limit right on the red line, and price can potentially pull back as low as this area. This will be the worst case scenario, would be the price coming all the way to the equal lows, then buying. That's a worst case scenario. Why I'm saying a worst case scenario is because all our limits will be active, and that distance of moving from current market price to all-time lows is 80 pips. You get it. So this will be a worst case scenario, but I'm still looking at this setup to actually play out. No matter where it retraces to, with the last point being the all-time, the today's lows, right in this gray order block here. But we should play out without having such a hectic retracement. And also, if we come to the M5, you see where that big candle is. Just mark that area. That will also be a buy limit right there. So another buy limit will be 13,769. 13,769. That's another buy limit right here. So you can see the buy limit here is active. on the red line. So we'll have 3 positions. We just manage those. Then once we start to move, then we might scale in, scale in, scale in. By the time we move from 13,800, if we can get to 13,850, then that will be a good trade. So that's my current view on B 1000 C500. Still retracing. Let's see if we should actually cut loss and wait for it. Nah, this one, let's hold the runner. C1000. Yeah, they might still retrace up here to our point of interest. So we just have one runner as well. So that's it for today, guys. I hope today's session was helpful. I'm going to post it just now on YouTube in case you want to rewatch it. I don't know if there's any questions. I can take a quick question or two if there's any. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome, bro. I'll still be updating on the entries on the Telegram group as well. So don't stress much. These Zoom sessions are just to give us a skeleton work for the day so that we just wait for price to come to our zones, then we can execute. So, okay, you're welcome, guys. I'll share the video just now on YouTube. Thank you so much. Good trading.